Planning. All right. So when we talk about this, including incident response plans, right, we have to define the systems, figure out what's important to CJIS. Well, all of the CJIS access, all the CJIS data, all the CJIS systems that could then give somebody any of the above. So really understanding that, figuring out what those roles are, what kind of information are we trying to secure? Well, in this case, it's all CJIS, but in its different flavors, right? Because two pieces of PII may not actually be CJIS data, or they could be, right? Depending on what's in those two pieces of information or personnel identifying information, PII. Overview of security and privacy requirements, understand what we are, where we are today, and how to make it better, and then overlay that to be better and better as we go forward. Description of controls, what things we're utilizing to protect these, and how we're going to improve on the annual piece. And then inclusion of risk determinations, right? So that we've defined the things that are scariest about our access, which device, or if it's too old to be patched, how do we protect it, and how do we continue to protect that moving forward, and then eventually getting there. Social media. A lot of this is not actual CJIS, because I wouldn't run social media on a CJIS network. But what if somebody posted CJIS data on a social media thing? We need to make sure that we tell everyone not to do that, right? It should be in the training. We should have a policy about what is allowed, who does that posting, and making sure that that information is necessary before we go public with anything, right? And so really understanding that and making sure that if we're using any of our organizational stuff for email addresses, passwords, etc., that's all protected, but not the same as what we're using for the actual access. So really taking it to that next level. We did an entire webinar on Zero Trust, but now they're calling it out. Now they're talking about we've got to understand good architecture, we have to plan for it, and we have to build it in. And then make sure that any new changes we make include the security requirements that we built into the plan, right? It must have multi-factor, must meet all of these new requirements as we add in additional segments or additional devices or personnel, right? Roles and responsibilities. So make sure it's built into that process. And now we must have a contingency plan, right? Well, a continuity of operations plan. A COOP plan has always been, well, really, really fundamentally part of public safety. We're really good at planning for hurricanes and other things. Well, we also have to do that same methodology to include CJIS and CJIS information. How do we know what's there? How do we keep it, making sure that it is there in a contingency format, right? What if our CJIS access is down? Well, here's the plan. We contact this neighboring organization, we share their piece, and they share ours, so that we can build that into that piece, and then include the incident response side so that we have a real plan that hits both sides. Really important as we go forward.